In this lesson, we'll begin refining the line work for our third character. Alright, so previous lesson we took this shape right here and we began applying some pencils to it and pulled a character out of this shape. And you see here the result before me. Now I'm going to come in now and actually refine this line work up just a little bit here using my hard round black brush, and we're working on our refined layer here under this character 3 folder in our layer stack. So this is should be a similar process to exactly what we've done on the previous lessons, and refining the line work for these other two characters right over here. So again, I'm just going to focus on creating an outline form of this character. Now, in between lessons, I actually worked a little bit more on this, and you can see here that I've sort of addressed a problem here. You see the shoulder that we had initially drew here, it just looked a little strange. We were seeing a little too much of it. By shrinking that in size and lowering it a little bit, we've made it recede into the background, and you can see here the new tilt that I've drawn here between those two shoulders. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started here and just begin bringing out some of this line work and refining it here using our hard black round brush. So just pull these lines in just like so. And let's go ahead and start with her hair. She's got very flamboyant hair, very exciting hair. So we're going to start there, and let's go ahead and bring in this part right here in front of her face. Now, again, work with nice broad strokes, and I find that the faster you make a stroke, the easier it is to make a straight line, make it a confident stroke. So if you're moving slowly, then more than likely any movement is going to come from the wrist in your arm instead of from the elbow. So I really want to focus on creating the movement from the elbow. So let me just go ahead and rotate our canvas around here, and we're just going to kind of trace around following her hairline here. We can always come back and clean this line work up in just a little while if we need to for any portion of it. So she's got all these nice wispy areas down at the bottom. It's very there's a lot of movement in her hair, so I really want to capture that here in this line work. And let's see, let's go ahead and bring in another line here. Now you can see here that we're kind of creating a layered effect by placing one line in front of other lines. This is going to add to the illusion that parts of her hair are actually behind other parts. So you can see that in this case here. This little piece right here, it looks like it's behind this piece. So we'll go and bring in another line right here. And let's go ahead and bring in this curve right here. And so we got sort of a little curl right there. So I'm just going to continue working my way around our character's hair here. We've gotten to the point where we're almost at her shoulders, and we haven't really touched any on her face just yet, but that's okay. We'll kind of work our way in on this character. There's really no right way or wrong way to go about this, but we talked about the correction that was made at the shoulders, so let's come in here and work this line work over in this area. So we've got, this is our old shoulder here, this is our new shoulder here. So I'm going to come in, bring that shoulder in, just like so. And now that we've done that, let's go ahead and bring in another line here for this shoulder. Nice swooping line. And you can see that I trimmed those two lines just a little bit, so we'll shave those back with our eraser. And let's go ahead and draw this line here. Rotate around. We'll go ahead and hit this back side of her shoulder. So we've got pretty much her body defined here. Now we can come in here and actually add to it by pulling this curve right here down from her tank top. Alright, so that looks pretty good. So I'm going to just come down here and follow down the other side of her hair. And let's just come down, begin right here. And again, making large swooping motions with your brush or your stylus here. Come in and clean up any little areas that need it here after the fact. Alright, so maybe that gets shaved back just a little bit. Alright, so let's go ahead and focus on sort of the interior details here. Now, for the most part, this character is quite a bit more simple than the characters we've done before her. If you look here, there's not quite as many details. So let's really focus on these details and make sure we get exactly the lines we want. So I'm going to come in here and start with her eyebrows first, making it a little thicker down here, closer to the center of her forehead. And I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and zoom out on that. That looks pretty good. A little thick, if anything, but we can always come in and adjust that later. So we'll just come in now at this point. Let's go ahead and draw this curve right here in her eye. Now I'm going to make sure and take great care here to make sure this is a nice, confident line, because the eyes are generally the first thing someone's going to notice about a character. So we want this to be a good, clean line. And let's go ahead and draw this line right here. Make those meet there. Now, thinking about thick and thin areas, we've talked about this a little bit in previous lessons. Maybe I want to make sort of this corner of her eye a little thicker. Maybe her mascara is a little bit thicker over here in the corner. So maybe these lines are at their thickest point here where they meet, and at their thinnest point over here. So, maybe we could actually add that sort of subtle transition to the line. Maybe we need to clean that up just a little bit to shave off some little hiccups there, but I think that this is going to work out pretty nicely. We'll just come in and add in some little wispy eyelashes here at the corner of her eye. And let's go ahead and hit this ellipse that is sort of the iris in her eye. Now again, when you're adding color to these characters, you can feel free to eliminate any of this line work you need to, but as you're applying the color, I think it's a good idea to go ahead and add the line work just as a base. Sort of creates a digital coloring book, if you will. It gives you a placement for the color. Now, whether you keep that line work or get rid of it is entirely up to you. Let's just zoom out here. We could take a look at it without our pencils if we need to. I think that's looking pretty good. We may come in and just clean that up in between lessons a little bit. But let's go ahead and move on to her other eye here. Now, I'm going to just, again, bring down that line just to match this line right here. Now, remember, this is at a little different perspective, so we need to keep in mind the corners of the eye. So the inner corner and the outer corner, and how those are going to wrap around her three-dimensional head. So we'll just come in, bring that one in just like so. Maybe that actually needs to come down a little bit more. Let's grab our eraser tool. Maybe it doesn't quite meet that corner right there. We didn't even come close to meeting right here, so I'm going to go ahead and just shave that a little bit, just like so. Alright, so we'll come in now and go ahead and add these little eyelashes here, much in a very similar fashion that we did the other ones. Looking pretty good. So we've got one eyebrow missing. Let's go ahead and attack that really fast. We'll go ahead and put that in right about there. And remember, that's going to be hidden by the hair that's covering her face here. So we'll go ahead and just hide that in behind there. And I'm going to make sure to take care that that is not too thick. Remember, that eyebrow's a little bit further from us. So if we need to come in and erase away a little bit of that, feel free to. Alright, so let's go ahead and zoom in here and take care of this other iris and pupil in her eye. And, this one is the one that we worked a little bit on just because it looked a little strange. Maybe she wasn't quite looking in the right direction, so I want to be real careful when I draw these in. And I think that works pretty well. So we'll go ahead and leave that for now. Erase away this little dot here that shouldn't be there, and let's go ahead and draw in some of these lines for her face. I'm going to go and begin with this curve right here. So I'm going to go ahead and start using my brush tool, and we'll just quickly draw this line in. Get it nice and confident. Make sure that there's no shakiness at all in that line. So I'm going to come over here and draw this line right here. Now, again, I'm rotating this around just to find the best path for my hand. My hand is comfortable drawing this curve at this angle. Your hand may not be at this angle, so feel free to experiment by rotating your canvas around. The keyboard shortcut for that in Photoshop is R, and again, you're going to need to have your OpenGL drawing enabled on your system in order to be able to do that. So if you want to find that, you can do a Control K, accessing Photoshop's preferences, and it's under Performance here, right here, Enable OpenGL Drawing. So I'm going to go and cancel that out. And let's go ahead and focus on some of the more of these details here. I'm going to draw in her little nose. And let's come in and let's go ahead and hit her lips. Now remember, we had these nice big full lips on our character here. So I'm going to come in and really focus on getting those in the right spot and making those look as clean as we possibly can. So this line right here isn't making a whole lot of sense. Let's go ahead and do just sort of the perimeter of the lips first, and then we'll come in and fill in any interior details if we need to. So we'll just kind of trace around the outside of the lips. And let's see, maybe she's got sort of this little piece right here that we tried to draw earlier. And we'll just send that to the corner. So that's looking pretty good for right now. So we've got a few more details here around here for her hair and her ears. So let me just go and rotate around. We'll go ahead and hit these really, really fast. All right, these nice wispy hairs that are kind of being sent in front of her cheekbone there. This one actually is going to cover her ear just a little bit. Now let's rotate that around. And speaking of her ear, let's go ahead and add the line work for her ear. All right, so we're looking really good here. Okay, let's go ahead and hide our pencils and see how she looks. Okay, I tell you what we can go ahead and do is let's go ahead and fill in a little bit of information here in the pupils. I'm going to go ahead and fill those areas with black. Sometimes I feel like if you don't fill those in, even if you do plan on switching the inked line work out with color, it feels a little hollow. It's hard to evaluate the eyes on a character without sort of a solid area right there. So fill that in and let's just zoom out, and she's looking pretty good. So in this lesson we have refined the line work for our third character. In the next lesson we'll go ahead and pick up where we're leaving off here, and let's go ahead and look at this fourth shape and begin pulling a character out here as well.